be going out of order, I apologize. Why are large trucks related to events continuing to use Dean Street from 6th to Vanderbilt when leaving the loading dock of Barclays Center on Dean Street? I don't think this really relates. Well, doesn't really relate. We've addressed this 1,001 times in the Quality of Life meeting. I know Terrence has addressed this publicly, I think, a number of times. If there's an interest in participating in the Quality of Life meeting that we have every other month, you can let Derek know. There's a meeting we have every other month with the community. Most of you attend those meetings where we talk about just these issues. The next question, are there intersections with significant impacts? If so, which ones and what steps are proposed to mitigate the problem? This is more relevant to the post-arena traffic study, I would imagine, which is going to hopefully be released sometime in the fall. Chris, is that accurate? At some point soon, I would imagine, where these issues will certainly be discussed. This TDM analysis did not, sorry?
No, just to clarify, so there's two
There are two studies, that's correct.
Because people might be confused. There's two studies underway. DOT, using its own resources, is doing the study I referred to before, which is the parking utilization study. In addition, there's a study being done as traffic, which is a really EIS. It's evaluating the EIS traffic mitigations and how they're functioning. Sam Schwartz is doing that study, and we're obviously very much involved in those. So there's two upcoming studies that will deal with other aspects of transportation that aren't being touched upon tonight.
Thank you, Chris. The next question, will Forest City use its influence with the governor and state legislature to get RPP enacted for the area around Barclays Center? Do you want to answer that question?
We've stated many times that we are not opposed to residential parking permits, and we are happy if the legislature takes them on, and so that's our position again.
Thank you. How many arena employees drive to work on average each day and each night? Sam, do you want to answer that?
I believe and it might be the immediate slide before this. Whoops. Yeah, so these are the percentages. 14% drive to the arena on a weekday and 17% on a weekend.
Sorry, but what's the total of the percentages of?
It depends on the size of the event. You could have events of 200 or 300 people, so that's could be 30 cars to events that might have 500, 600 employees, and therefore you could take, yes?
I just wanted to clarify on that point too. The way the language of the survey, it's also built into that number of 14 and 17% are people who are dropped off in their private vehicle, say their son or daughter or their husband or wife drives them to the arena and drops them off for work. That's included in that 14 to 17%. So, anecdotally, not to mess with statistics, anecdotally, it's significantly higher. It's not like these people are parking in the area. It's that the language of the survey precluded them to answer that way.
That's not our experience. Our experience is that we see many people.
The arena employees that park on the block.
Yeah. Still.
I know a lot of people have concerns about arena patrons, workers parking on the block. That's not being covered in the study. When we discuss the post-arena traffic study and I don't know what the name of the study is, I'm sorry.
On-street parking.
The on-street parking study that DOT has conducted, we'll have a more robust conversation about that. But this study does not address that issue. So I think we should move on. How many patrons come to events in black cars? Sam, are you able to answer that?
We don't have the black cars alone, but we can show you. We combine taxi or car service or limousine or for-hire vehicle, because sometimes black car could be your local livery service. They could be contract service, so we lump them together at 6.7%. This is on a weekend, 5.3%, and if you look at the weekday, about the same, 5.7 and 6.5.
Can you put some numbers on that? Because percentage doesn't mean anything.
For the black cars, we we have that number under 1%.
Yeah, what is the number of cars? Is it 1% of what? I have no idea.
Of around 15,500 on a sold-out event or so.
No,
Depends on the
those
event.
aren't cars, those are people.
Those are people.
He's-
Right, so you have to then divide it by the occupancy to get the actual
The number of
number.
cars is on the slide below, before.
Right.
I mean, it's,
There is a number of cars on the
look
slide?
at the slide before. There you go.
Where?
That's numbers of cars.
Where is that?
Okay, those are.
No, it's the numbers of cars in the peak hour. It's not every hour.
The 15 or 1600? Or the 782, 1264?
It doesn't include, it's not everything because it's the peak hour is what you're saying.
But it hovers around 1,000 is what you're saying.
Do you have a sense of what the number would be?
Oh, no,
If
no,
it's
that's not small.
1%, it's a small number. We'll get back to you with the number.
Somebody should try to figure this out. We just heard from Ms. Hinkin that we've dedicated the south side of Atlantic Avenue between 6th and Carlton for
Okay,
flat
yeah,
cars.
Dan knows the answer, so
Yeah.
sorry, we all look a little scrambled.
Back from San
Dan knows everything.
Yeah,
You wanna come?
So use the
Yeah, I'm
microphone.
sorry.
thank you.
So if you translate into actual cars, there are about, in terms of what you guys are calling black cars, we asked on the survey if there's limos or luxury vehicles, rented luxury vehicles. For an average Nets game on a weekday, there were about 20 altogether.
But
20.
what?
No, it's 20 on my block. I'm sorry.
20 limos or luxury vehicles in total.
I'm sorry,
Taxis,
I apologize.
which could include livery cabs that you might be mistaking for like a rented luxury vehicle, were about 350.
Were you taking that number just from the cars that were parked in the designated area?
These are from the survey, so we ask people how they travel, and they give a...
Within the community?
No, these are surveys done inside the arena where we interviewed thousands of patrons and asked how they traveled, and then we get percentages from that, and then from those numbers, we figured out
So you had
the
nobody
actual number of
actually
vehicles.
within the community? So that's
DOT
what-
is doing a study like that Chris was talking about.
And you have a figure for an event, a concert or a non-Nets event on black cars?
We had figures for the other events that we surveyed. And
So for a concert, what's the
We can
figure?
get back to you with that.
Yeah.
You can't average
there's a
concert,
range,
it's
depends on
meaningless.
the concert.
It's meaningless, it's not.
Right.
What error did you factor in for your survey when you did a survey of the error of people that did not respond? You gave out X amount of
There is
surveys.
a-
Oh, well,
What was the
we-
error that you factored in?
Yeah,
We did a survey.
Yeah, I mean, this is a statistical firm that we brought in,
I understand.
and what they do is they will weight the different levels where they got the information from, so that if there are more people in the upper bowl, they'll weight it properly if they got fewer answers. But the number of people that they surveyed per event is as many as we survey for presidential election.
I understand.
Yeah.
My question is basically, if you gave out 2,000 applications,
Explain the survey.
how much percentage did you get back
So
of the
Explain
2,000?
how it was
the
done.
company that did it had a team of surveyors in the building, in the around the concourses and on the suite levels, everywhere that people circulate inside the building. And they all had, not iPads, tablets, with them, with the survey on it, and they intercepted people randomly who were
Randomly
circulating.
accepted. Okay, and so
around the
what was your
building.
proportion for your answer?
Then they took all the data that they got, and then they found out, we got from the arena operators, the actual scans of tickets by section and by level. So all that data was weighted to account for that. So if they had, 5% of the surveys were done on the suite level, but in reality 10% of the people were sitting on the suite level, they weighted those answers up. So they would represent the actual population in the building.
All right, so we don't have a true number, basically.
We do
It is a
have
true number. So they take that and then they get a profile of everyone in the building. And we know how many people were in there for each event, so you could take, 59% transit people, we know there were 15,444 people at an event, so you can just multiply the two and you know exactly how many people that is on that mode, or
Based on sold-out seats in the suites and
based on everybody in the building. It's,
Even arena, even Nets players, even the team players?
the players would have, I don't know if they got the,
No,
there's a separate survey for
Yeah.
employees. This was just patrons.
When you did the employee survey, did you include the players from both teams?
The players have at most 20 parking
They have their own
spaces.
private
There are
parking.
15
That's
players
it.
on the team.
They have.
Yeah.
It's not statistically significant.
They come by.
Coming above, coming above.
Yeah.
They do, they don't. I mean,
They come by bus.
they don't. They don't. And they have their
Maybe
own
not-
black cards.
Well, we're talking about
That's why I'm saying.
20 cars in total that are available for players. That's it, 20.
Is the weighting of the survey statistically, is that in the information you're going to disseminate?
I mean, in the memo, there's a description of how the survey was done. There's
So,
a little methodology description, and it says how they had people out there and how they weighted it.
But you're telling us how they weighted, but the actual number of people that they talked to?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Those
what
are
I'm-
all, those were
yes.
here
And
too.
every-
They,
So it's 5,600.
We're posting not only this presentation, but also a detailed memo which describes the entire process, the methodology, goes through many more numbers that are in this presentation. So that will all be posted on the website tomorrow morning.